Hello, I'm Sridevi Patnala. Let's kick off this session with the power sharing of social science CBSE. So things to grasp in this session are: what is power sharing? Power sharing is nothing but it is a division of power between the government organs such as legislation, judiciary, and executive. And we will cover about what is majoritarianism, stories behind the Belgium and Sri Lanka, and accommodation in Belgium, why power sharing is desirable, forms of power sharing. So this is in a world map of the Belgium where the neighboring countries are Netherlands, Germany, Switzerland, and France of the Belgium. Belgium can be compared with our country, with our state in Haryana in our Indian country. So where we have around 2 crore population in Haryana, where in Belgium it is little smaller in population, and it is in a smaller country in the European countries. Population is around 1 crore. And in Flemish area, northern part of Belgium, where Dutch is spoken around 59%, and Wallonia, 40% of them speak in French. And the capital city, Brazil, 80% speak French and 20% speak Dutch. So now the problem statement, the conflicts between different communities and different linguistics between them. And overall, 1% speak German in the Belgium. So we understood the problem statement of the Belgium. So next is on the map of northern country of the Belgium, where it is represented in yellowish, from Flemish, which is mostly speaking Dutch area, and the Wallonia, which is represented in the southern part of Belgium, which is represented in red, who speak French, and the blue color, which indicates German speaking area, and the Brazil is the capital of the Belgium. And as we understood the problem statement of Belgium, how did they solve the Belgium, the conflicts between the communities, etc. So they amended the constitution, enabling everyone to live together within the same country. So constitution prescribed number of Dutch people and number of French speaking ministers shall share equal share in the central government. And similarly, many powers of the central government were given to the state government. And Brazil has a separate government in which both communities of Dutch and the French are equally represented. Apart from the central and the state government, there is a third kind of government called community government, which are very small number of people speaking different languages like German, etc. That's the reason the community government has been provided. So Belgium solved the problem like this by sharing the power and modifying the rules in the Belgium country. And next problem statement area is Sri Lanka, one of the areas which is just uh, below Tamil Nadu, Sri Lanka on the map. This is how it looks. And the Sri Lankan population is around 2 crore. Again, it can be compared with this in our India with the state Haryana, where Sinhala speaking people are more around 70%, and Tamil speaking are 80%. In that 18%, in that 18%, you have Sri Lankan with 13% who are born and brought up there, and Indian migrated are 5%. So the majority is against Sinhala community enjoyed an ever even bigger majority and could impose its will on the entire country. So the conflict is again on the communities where we had. So majoritarianism in Sri Lanka. 1948, it became independent country, and Sinhala government sought to secure dominance over the government and adopted series of majoritarian and established Sinhala supremacy. In 1956, an act was passed to recognize Sinhala as an official language, which is disgracing the Tamil language. The government followed preferentially policies that favored Sinhala applicants for university positions and government jobs, which is again disgracing the Tamil population where they are living. So the conflict arose between the communities. The relations between the Sinhala and Tamil communities strained over time. The distrust between the two communities turned to a widespread conflict. and finally, the changes were not done to the government. However, the civil war ended in 2009. The earlier example we saw Belgium, they amended the constitution and solved their problem with the multiple policies amended. And whereas in Sri Lanka, it ended with the war, civil war, and it ended in 2009. So two countries with democratic countries, how they solve the problem. So from this, we got to know why power sharing is desirable. Power sharing can reduce the conflicts between social groups. It's a good way to ensure the stability of the political order. And what are the forms of power sharing? So basically, power sharing is among the different organs of the government. Basically, horizontal power sharing, equally power is shared among different organs of the government, like our legislature, executive, judiciary. Such separation ensures that none of the organ can exercise unlimited power. Each organ checks the others. The result is balanced power of among various institutions. This is the first form of the power sharing, where we can share the different organs. Power can be shared between the different organs of the government. And the second form is power shared among different levels, government at different levels, from vertical to the, from horizontal to vertical, we came here. Whereas in the first form, we saw the horizontal way of sharing, and in vertical it is between the central government, in the state government, and the local government, where the system gives authorities from higher to the lower authorities. Power is shared. And the third form is power may also be shared among different social groups. As in the Belgium group, we have seen so small people where they formed a community government. Similarly, if we have leftover with the small communities, we can form a light community government. And similarly, weaker sections and women are represented in the legislature and administration to support the smaller groups of this. That's the third form of the social groups representing power sharing. And the fourth and final one of the forms of the power sharing is power sharing arrangements can also be seen in the way of political parties, pressure groups, movements controlling the influence who are there in the power. Example, when our two or more parties from the alliance to the context elections passes, if the party is elected, so the power is shared between the two groups who form the alliance. Similarly, in the democratic country, the interests such as groups for the traders, industrialists, and businessmen, whoever are participating and power need to be in the share of the government power, have to participate in the governmental communities and bring influence on decision making. This is the fourth thing which helps you to power sharing arrangements on the political parties and the several groups of this. So we ended up with the all the graphs of that. What is power sharing? Why power sharing is required? And forms of power sharing and the rules to be established. And the examples of the Belgium and Sri Lanka, how Belgium solved the problem by amending their policies, etc., and how Sri Lanka went within a civil war up to 2009. And finally, we came up with the power sharing forms which can be used around the power sharing in the democratic countries. With this, I end up the power sharing session, and thank you for watching. I'll be back with the next session. Meanwhile, please subscribe and like and share the screen, share the videos to turn on the notifications. And thank you so much.